The AP Top 25 poll is officially here, and really it was officially here about 24 hours ago, but Coop was on a mission looking for a Cam Ward Titans jersey all day today. I'll keep you updated and let you know how that went, but I'm ready to look at this thing. Where is Miami after beating an FCS opponent? Where is USF after getting their second ranked win of the season? Did Clemson fall after Troy gave them a run for their money in the first half? Somehow I've managed to avoid looking at this thing. Anytime it popped up on social media, I just hurried and scrolled past it. So let's react to it and check it out together. What's going on, Canes fans? This time we're going to start at 25 and work our way to number one, a suggestion made by you guys, which is a great one, because why would you start at 1 and work your way to 25 instead of starting at 25 and working your way to 1? You live and you learn. So kicking off the top 25 here, you have Mizzou at 25, who is currently undefeated. It looks like they beat Kansas 42-31. We'll keep it moving from those guys. Auburn at 24, also undefeated. They beat Ball State. They play South Alabama, so still not a big test coming up for them yet. Michigan at 23, lost to Oklahoma 24-13. What happened with the quarterback situation there? I heard some hype on the young guy. Looks like things didn't necessarily pan out. They were number 15 in the country. They fall big to 23, and we'll see if maybe hopefully soon they fall out of the top 25. Coming in at 22, you have Indiana, an undefeated team. They went from 23 to 22, so they bumped up a little bit here. 21, Texas Tech. They beat Kent State, and they beat them big, 62-14. They do have to play Oregon State this coming up Saturday. They moved up as well from 24. 20, Utah. They went from 25. They beat Cal Poly 63-9. Big win. Wyoming on deck here for them. 19, Alabama. So they moved up a bit. They went from 21 to 19. They just absolutely curb stomped UL Monroe. They took out some aggression, I'm assuming. I mean, could you not have at least given those guys like 3 points, at least let them hit a field goal? I mean, good grief. Lost to Florida State in that first game. We all remember. We're going to continue to talk about it, but they do bump them up. So this is going to be interesting to see, because for Miami, I believe that pretty much everybody that was ahead of Miami won their game. So my guess is that Miami probably just stays in the same spot. It kind of opened up some room here for, on the bottom end of this thing for Alabama to work their way up a bit. But they do have to play Wisconsin at noon on Saturday. So we'll see how that pans out. 18 is USF. So they did decide to rank them after they beat Boise State in week 1. And then they got the win against Florida, who in my opinion was overhyped and overranked, being at 13. But they do give South Florida that ranking at 18. And look, I say it's deserved. I made an entire episode talking about how USF is overrated a little bit. Don't downplay the opponent. Respect them. I think they're better than they were last year, but I think they're overrated just a tad. I don't think Boise State's all that. I don't think Florida's all that. They put up 1 touchdown against Florida, and the rest of it's field goals. But at the end of the day, they played 2 games and they beat 2 ranked opponents, so they deserve to have a number by their name. And they'll see Miami this Saturday on the CW. I think it's funny because I bet the CW wasn't planning on this. A big ranked showdown on the CW. Probably not expecting South Florida to be ranked, taking on Boise State and Florida to start their season. Well, here you go, CW. Get that ad money, I guess. But so that's going to be 18 versus, if Miami is at 5, that's a big showdown. So that 18-16 victory over Florida. The Bulls are officially ranked here. So who is ahead of them? You have Ole Miss, who did defeat Kentucky 30-23. So Lane Kiffin continues to climb from 20 to 17. They play Arkansas on Saturday. 16, the Aggies, they move up in a pretty big way from 19 to 16. That's quite the jump. Took on Utah State, beat them 44 to 22. How do we feel about Texas A&M? I think that we'll know a lot more about them when they play Notre Dame on Saturday, and we'll know a lot more about Notre Dame. Just imagine being a Notre Dame fan right now. Losing to Miami in that first game, you're expecting to win, and then you have to sit and go through that entire bye week continuing to be clowned by Miami fans, and then you have to go in and play another ranked team, the Aggies. At least for the Fighting Irish, this is at Notre Dame. It's another night game. We'll see here. It says Marcel Reed has thrown 3 touchdown passes in 3 consecutive games. It's the second longest streak at A&M since 2004. Are the Aggies all that? I've not really kept up with Texas A&M, so you guys will have to plug me in and let me know. But from 19 to 16. Ahead of them, however, is the Tennessee Volunteers. I don't know, man. I feel like Tennessee's one of those teams that, gets put up on a pedestal. They rank them high, and then they take a dump when they get into the real meat of their schedule. But they got a showdown against Georgia on Saturday, so they have an opportunity to make a statement. They jumped up big from 22 to 15. They put a butt whooping on East Tennessee State, 72 to 17. That's the most points scored in a game in the AP poll era since 1936. That is pretty wild. They did not let off the gas at all. Iowa State at 14, jumping up from 16. They played Iowa in a close one, which you would expect. Iowa, versus Iowa State, 16 to 13 victory. They play Arkansas State on Saturday. We're approaching the top 10 here. Oklahoma at 13, of course, getting that win over Michigan, 24 to 13. They played Temple. They jumped up from 18 to 13. Another big jump there for that football team. Clemson, this is one that we really wanted to see. Where did they land? Even though they beat Troy 27 to 16, it was 16 to 3 at halftime. At the end of the day, a win is a win, right? Even an ugly win, you'd rather win than lose. Clemson has a ton of questions, though, and they have so much stuff that they have to clean up. That was a big comeback win for them, but they have a massive game on Saturday against Georgia Tech. This is a Clemson team I feel like that could be questioning themselves a tad. Everybody had them up, myself included. I had them as a contender team for the ACC championship, and that could still be the case. I mean, their one loss was to LSU, an SEC team. Maybe some people think that they're overrated as well, but they played them close. I know it had to freak their fan base out going up against Troy, thinking that they might lose that game. But they did come out victorious, but they do drop them from 8 to 12. Georgia Tech's going to be a physical team. Haynes King is great at running the football. Hopefully he can survive this season. So we'll see. That's going to be one that's definitely going to be on my radar. Tigers versus the Yellow Jackets. Is Clemson washed up? Are they overrated and overhyped? I think it would be kind of funny, I'm not going to lie, if Georgia Tech took it to them on Saturday. And I got no love for Georgia Tech. Y'all know that, but I mean, I'm just saying it'd be pretty funny. The Gamecocks, they go from 10 to 11, so they do fall a bit. They beat South Carolina State 38 to 10, but that's not an impressive opponent, and it just kind of is what it is. Got a little bit of movement here. They get an SEC showdown against Vanderbilt this Saturday. Now, hold on. Time out before we get into the top 10. I need to tell you about Sleeper, the #1 sports app. This app is fantasy football, but it's also so much more than that. You have real-time chat that you can go back and forth with people during the games. You can check live stats for the games, and you can enter picks contest and win some real money. That's probably my personal favorite part of the app. And we even made some live picks during the Titans game on Sunday. Now, we did end up missing by 1, so we were very close. We're going to try again this weekend. But I'm telling you that Sleeper is an app that is bringing people together through sports. So check them out. There is a link down in the description. Just make sure that you use code COOP. They will match 100% of your first deposit up to $100. You click that link, you can create an account. There's an app that you can download on your phone. It's super sleek, man, easy to use. I even just use it whenever I want to check scores and updates and things for the games. It is my go-to sports app. So let's go jump over there and check out this top 10. We're on to the top 10, and would you look at that? Well, look who it is cracking the top 10 right there. Little brother, Florida State. You know what? I'm proud of them. I am. You know, Mike Norvell was willing to make some changes, and they jump up from 14 to 10. Absolutely just dog walked East Texas A&M, or as they say, Texas A&M. And that was crazy, man. 729 total yards. That's the most by this FSU football team since 2000. They do get a bye week, so they get to sit back. Man, they took down Bama. Whether you think they're overhyped or not, I mean, it's, you know, everybody wants to take down Bama. Florida State did it. There was a ton of doubt after going 2-10, and now they are a top 10 team who gets to go into a bye week this week and sit back and watch the chaos. So honestly, they're in a pretty good position right now. And I really hope that these guys are undefeated when we see them at Doak Campbell Stadium. I say it time and time again. I don't care if you want to call me not a Miami fan, or you want to question me in any way. I don't care. That's my stance. That's how I feel. I want them to be undefeated. I want that game to mean something. I want it to be big. We need Florida State to stay undefeated so we can knock them down a peg or two when we see them in Tallahassee. So the top 10 here is going to be a bit interesting. The top 5 might not be as much, but okay, so Illinois. So Illinois went from 11 to 9. Poor Manny Diaz. 45-19 loss to Illinois. People were wondering if Duke was going to be all that with the transfer quarterback that they brought in, and they beat them, and they beat them bad. So they moved up to number 9. They play Western Michigan this week. Notre Dame actually moves up a spot. They had a bye week. They didn't play anybody. They go from 9 to 8, but I guess I get it due to the movement ahead of them. So it kind of just, it is what it is. It looks weird though, bro. I mean, you got to understand my point of view here, right? I mean, an 0-1 team sitting at number 8 looks weird, doesn't it? If they lose to Texas A&M, that's 2 ranked losses. Like, that would be losses to what would be considered good opponents, at least at the time. Where do they put them then? You know, do the Fighting Irish bounce back? They've had an extra week to prepare. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird this season because they had the baseline. They have to do it. I get it. It messes with my brain, even though I know the extra details, to see that 2025 record say 0-1 and see someone sitting at number 8. I know I'm not the only one. That feels so weird. Texas at 7. They stayed in the same place. They're 1-1. They beat San Jose State. Nobody really cares. They play UTEP on Saturday. Nobody really cares. All eyes are on Arch Manning. Does he continue to get better throughout the season? We'll see. I'm sorry, Brandon. We have a viewer here on the channel who's a big Texas fan. Love him to death. He's a good dude, but just can't root for the Longhorns. Can't do it. Georgia from 4 to 6. So they have some movement there. They're undefeated, but they drop a bit. Beat Austin Peay. They're 28 to 6 rather. That's, I guess, not a huge victory. Like 28 to 6 sounds like a big victory, but I guess for Georgia, really, it wouldn't be against that caliber of opponent. But again, you have that massive showdown with Tennessee. And that's at Tennessee. That's in Neyland Stadium. I can tell you, as someone who lives about 30 minutes from Knoxville, I will probably hear the crowd at Neyland Stadium from my house on Saturday. It's going to be loud. That's going to be a hostile environment for Georgia. And that would be a big-time win for the Volunteers. So we'll see. Big test for the Dogs on the road. And there we go. As expected, Miami stagnant, stays at number 5. Took it to Bethune-Cookman. I say the score is a bit misleading. It's not that. I mean, Miami starters scored on every single drive when they were in the game. Backups played the second half of the ball game for the most part. And it's just one of those things. Mario Cristobal has a lot of respect for their head coach, and Miami won in every aspect of the game. Now, you got to go back and watch it and actually look at the stats. 45-3 is still a butt whooping, don't get me wrong. But Carson Beck, comes in and breaks a record during that game. And we have that big South Florida showdown, ranked matchup this Saturday. So Miami, a big opportunity to show that USF is not all that. Don't expect really a whole lot of movement here. Oregon jumped. They went from 6-4. They beat Oklahoma State, and embarrassing game for Oklahoma State. Good grief, 69, nice, to 3. They play Northwestern. That's good grief. That's just a booty spanking right there. LSU stays at number 3. They are undefeated right now. Beat Louisiana Tech. LSU in Florida. Can Florida bounce back? Or are they going to be rolling into Hard Rock Stadium with one win under their belt against Long Island? I don't know. Let me know. Do you want Florida to win that game? What means more to you? Because again, we know how college football math works. If Florida beats LSU and Miami beats Florida, then we beat LSU. I don't make the rules. It's just how college football works. So, I mean, that would kind of be a big opportunity there for Miami. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Florida fans deserve to be miserable. So it would be kind of funny if LSU just beats them down. They come in hanging their heads. They're still questioning DJ Lagway. Billy Napier came out and said, I'm still going to call the plays. I'm not passing it on to somebody else. We're not bringing somebody in. It's on me. I'm handling it. I'll take care of it. So I don't know. It would be so funny in a way to see them lose. I think it would be better if they won, though, but I kind of don't want them to get the confidence either, because they'll get up for that Miami game. They will. But the Tigers at number 3, I'm sure we can guess the next 2 teams coming up. Penn State stays at number 2, beat FIU 34-0. And doesn't shock anybody. Ohio State stays at number 1. National championship winning team from last year. 2-0, beats Grambling 70-0. And they play Ohio at 7 p.m. So the top 2 teams really don't have any questions going into this week. Ohio State playing Ohio, Penn State playing Villanova. But the LSU game will definitely be interesting, and our game will be pretty interesting against South Florida. Georgia with Tennessee will be a big one, and Notre Dame with the Aggies. Within the top 10, those are going to be some of the biggest matchups. We can get a snapshot here. It's kind of small. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this gives us an idea of where did I go? There I am. There I was. There I am. Of the entire top 25 here. You can see W's and L's and all that good stuff. You could always pause it. I'm sure you've probably already looked at this, if I'm being honest. Coop is just always fashionably late to just about everything. I wanted to post this video yesterday, but I wanted to do the Titans watch party. You guys know we're following Cam Ward this season, and I don't want to talk too much about that, but they start 0-1. Denver tried to give them the game with a ton of turnovers. They couldn't handle business. And I went out today. I live in Tennessee, and I had to travel 30 to 45 minutes away to find some Titans gear. So that's just kind of crazy to me. But there you have it, the AP Top 25. We'll see, because realistically, does Miami deserve that number 5? You know that we make these videos and we discuss it, but I don't really care about the number attached to the team. Just win football games. Everything else will take care of itself. It's still something interesting to discuss, though, because everybody's going to be talking about it. And I don't know what Notre Dame is. So realistically, Miami has beat Bethune-Cookman, an FCS opponent. No one cares, right? Just be honest. And a Notre Dame team that could possibly be 0-2 after this weekend. It'll depend on, do they play the Aggies close? Do they maybe win? Miami needs a little bit of strength of schedule, something to help us out. Florida's taking a dump, and if they don't beat LSU, if Notre Dame starts 0-2, you know what I'm saying? We need a little bit of help here with the strength of schedule. So some of these teams need to handle business. But either way, we're number 5 right now. And we got South Florida on deck this Saturday. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I still love reacting to these, even if you've already seen it. This was my raw reaction. And some of these were a little bit surprising. And we'll do this every single week, so we'll be here. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.